Welcome. Thank you for attending this workshop. I'm going to introduce our speaker. I'm Kendra Tankersley-Davis. But the most important thing that I want you to know is it's her birthday today.
That it is. I am 25 and my daughter turned 21 on Thursday. So I've decided that that's what I'm going to be. And so impressed with that. It's a rough week. It's birthday week in my house. So my husband is March 1st. My daughter is March 3rd. By the time we get here, I'm just like, who cares? I'm tired. I have made you people cakes and planned things. So I am Kendra Tankersley-Davis. I am so excited to be here. I'm an adjunct professor here, and I am also a program director at a nonprofit. I oversee 3 transitional housing programs. I'm that weird person who loves all their jobs. I do. I'm on a lot of committees. I probably love them too. I do. So I'm happy to be here. As I said, my daughter turned 21 on Thursday, which freaked me out. I couldn't believe it. And then I have to tell her stories about her birth and how she was 2.5 weeks late. And so, all that fun stuff. So today we're going to be talking about teens. I have been down. I know I'm 5'1", you guys. I really try with the shoes, but I love shoes. Is that good? I also want to say hello to our online family. Thank you for participating and tuning in. We appreciate it. And to those present, you could have been doing a lot of other things today on a Saturday. So I appreciate you being here because it means a lot. It means you actually care and you're interested. And so I say thank you for that. All right, talking about teens, they have their own world. It's theirs all by themselves. I saw this and I thought, this is great. We go to the doctor because we're just crazy, right? As parents. And I love that she says, I'm afraid you have what's known as children. It's a lot. And you think about it, being a parent, you're shaping someone's life, or a caregiver, you're shaping someone's life. I loved when Dr. Navardi talked about her grandmother and the integral part she played in her life. It is important to understand that it could be anyone. For me, I've had 2 different types of experiences. I'm going to be honest, my daughter has not given me any significant problems of any kind. My biggest problem was she was lazy. And then I took her to the doctor for her physical, and then we went back for results, and the doctor goes, so, does she lay around a lot? And I'm like, oh my God, she's so lazy. And the doctor goes, she has anemia. So she's tired. I was like, oops, sorry, didn't know. How'd this sneak up on us, right? But yeah, so I can't tell you that I went through challenges in raising my daughter that were significant. She is a product of divorce, so that's been significant, helping her navigate 2 completely different parenting styles and parents, 2 completely different cultures. My ex-husband is from another country. And so that can be challenging at times, is how do we navigate that? But I can't say she's been on drugs or, I've had problems with dating. She's got her first boyfriend now. I'm adjusting. He seems very sweet. He lives in Argentina. I like him. What I know, we've talked. But on the other end, for my career, I've spent the last 16.5 years working within the field of social services, working with adolescents and children and families who are dealing with what we call complex trauma. And complex trauma triggers behavior. And I've seen all kinds of behavior. I've worked with, I'll share some of the extremes. I had an 8-year-old who would eat her own feces when highly stressed. So she had figured out how to channel her body to need to go to the bathroom, and she'd eat it. Or young girls who would keep their used sanitary items and store them under the bed and store them in places in the room. Kids who have significant, violent, aggressive behavior problems. And all of that stems from something, some kind of pain, some kind of hurt, some kind of injury. They don't wake up doing this. And so I've got to see both sides of the fence, and I'm going to share what I've learned about that. The Webster's Dictionary. Yes, I went way back. And my daughter's like, oh my God, people are going to think you're so old. Nobody even uses Webster's. Could you please use Wikipedia? And I was like, Wikipedia is not even valid. The period of life when a child develops into an adult, the period from puberty to maturity, terminating legally at the age of majority. And then they say it's the state or process of growing up, a stage of development as of a language or culture prior to maturity. That sounds very rosy and cute, but here's what it really is, okay? Real world definition. These people think they know everything, okay? I'm still in this phase. I don't know when it's going to end. Supposed to end this year, but I don't know. You could tell my daughter anything. She's gonna go, I know. Oh, I know. Drives my husband crazy. So one day my husband asks us, what don't you know? The sun is square. I know. Like, it doesn't matter. She knows everything, right? And they're annoying people. They do things that make no sense to us. And they're very self-centered. The world's about them. What about, wait a minute, what? My daughter really thinks it's okay to take everything I own. I have nothing. My clothes, I have eczema. I haven't had an outbreak in years, but I keep the cream. She took that because it's good on pimples. I mean, self-centered. And I said, well, what about me? You're fine. Your skin's great. Just go to the doctor and get another one. Not thinking the process of going to the doctor, but I could just do that. Like, I just make that happen. And they're immature. They do things and you're like, why are you doing that? And they're temperamental. Don't give me something. Then oh my God, you're the worst person in the world. I was talking to a colleague and she's like, yeah, my daughter told me she hates me. I was like, yeah, she'll get up. She'll like you tomorrow. I mean, they're temperamental. They're easily influenced. I'm trying very hard to figure out these dumb TikTok challenges. Who wants to eat detergent? How is that cool to stand on milk crates? But I'm influenced by it. Even these social media people with lots of followers, what are they called? They're influencers because they influence. They're entitled. Well, why shouldn't I have it? My daughter told me, I said, you need a job. Like, when she was 16, 17, she told me, I really feel like I should work in an office. What skill set do you have? What degree do you have? Well, I mean, I just don't, I was like, oh, here's a clothing store. Oh, no, I don't want to pick up people's clothes. Who are you? That was my thought. I said it to her. And they constantly push boundaries. You tell them, well, why? Why can't I go here? Why can't I do that? But they're also learning and they're growing. They're growing physically. 12 years old for my kid, I didn't think she'd ever stop eating. And she's a very thin person, but their bodies are growing and changing. They're evolving. They're figuring out who they want to be and who can I be. They're also very social beings. Their friends become very important, and what their friends think become important. And they're adventurous. They will do things and risk things that we may never do. My daughter just spent the last year studying abroad. I would not do that. She will get up and get on a plane, and it's fine, and I'll figure it out. And her mother is the complete opposite. And she loves hiking and camping. Like, she's like, ooh, there's mountains near where we live. And she's like, let's go hiking. And I'm like, the snakes, automatically, that's where I'm going. She's like, Mom, whatever, I'll kill it if I need to. I was like, you're scared of snakes. But see, her brain, I'm just adventurous. They're optimistic. They really push to change. If you see different movements and you watch them, these kids are like making, look at Live to Free. They're like, what? We can stop trafficking. They're so positive and optimistic. They're developing skill sets and they're also searching for themselves. I'm pushing boundaries because I'm trying to figure me out. It's important that we understand that. These are some stages of adolescence. I like to throw in some, technical stuff here and there. So early adolescence, 10 to 13, they have that growth spurt. The body starts changing and they're trying to ask questions about what's happening to me. Girls start, we know girls mature faster than boys. And they might be starting to question their gender identity. It's okay to do that now. We hear lots of conversations about it. They increase in sort of this concrete thinking. It's black or white. They're very concerned about their appearance. I remember, my daughter's going to kill me for this, but I remember when she was at this age, she had a wart up below her knee about this big. You couldn't even see it. And then she was like, I need it every morning for school. She had to put Band-Aids. I spent so much money on Band-Aids for something no one could see because she was concerned the friends might see it. So I care about my appearance and what their peers think, and also sort of this increased need for privacy. Then we get to middle adolescence, 14 to 17, and we see the body continuing to grow and develop. And then, parents' worst nightmare. Now they want a significant other. I remember asking my daughter, so are boys still gross? And she's like, they've not been gross for a while. I was late to the game asking the question, but they're starting to think, hey, that person's cute. And little love note. Well, now it's text. Back in the day, love note texts are being sent and things like that. They're exploring again, continuing their sexual identity. Appearance means even more, and they think more abstract. Then we get to where I am, this late adolescence, right? With my kid. Physical development's usually complete. They start making better decisions. So my daughter turns 21 and I said, hey, your friends, what are your friends gonna do? And she goes, she tells my husband and I, they keep asking me, like, what kind of liquor do I want? I don't want any. I was so proud. She's like, I'm not into that. That's a better decision-making process and not succumbing to the peer pressure that was kind of coming her way. Better impulse control, better at viewing the bigger picture to determine consequences. If I do A, there will be B. They're starting to get that. They really start understanding their own morals and values, not ours, not what we've put, but what theirs might be. You see it quite a bit with that generational gap. Parents may think, I was talking yesterday with some of Ruthie's students, and we were talking about how older people may view the LGBTQ community, and now this generation is like, yeah, whatever. We got to change with the times, and they do. And again, more stable romantic relationships, and they start evolving and the relationship starts changing with their parents. When we talk about teens, I've come to realize they have their own language. It's all theirs, all by themselves. And my daughter, there's been 2 times in her life I thought I might kill her. Not literally, but she was driving me crazy. And one of them was when we were looking at colleges. There was a wonderful local college in Orange County offering her all kinds of scholarship, ding, ding, yay for mommy. And it was a great school, small school, and they did wonderful tours and it was great. And my daughter, I said, oh, what do you think? I'm all excited. We met the professors and had lunch with the professors. And she goes, I don't like the vibe. I said, what? I don't like the vibe. And I said, what is a vibe? I'm always asking questions of her like I'm on Jeopardy. I was like, what is the vibe? You know, the vibe. I said, no, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. Like now I'm just frustrated. The feel. It's not, I don't know. It's not, the vibe is not for me. And I thought, but scholarship money, and it's a really good school, but the vibe. Or we're going to one of her favorite concerts, and she goes, oh my God, I've really got to get some merch. And I said, what is a merch? Like, I don't even know what this is. And she's like, merch. And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Merchandise. I said, why don't you say merchandise or t-shirt? Because nobody says that. And don't say that because then people are going to think you're old. It's merch. The new one, this just happened. Oh my God, Mom, that is really a roar. And I was like, a what? A roar. I said, like a roar, like a lion. And then she acts like I'm not the smart one, like I should know. The RAR, R-A-W-R, it means like it's cool, it's cute. I said, well, can't you just say it's cute? Because it's a RAR. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't, it's too much. Like, but we're trying to figure it out. Their music, their videos, their TV shows are all different than us. I remember my mom losing her mind over Madonna. She went to this day. My mom does not like Madonna because Madonna made Papa Don't Preach and don't tell me what to do. And my mom will talk back to the songs, which I do now too. oh, you're going to have a baby, but you're telling me I can't say anything. And then she made like a virgin, and that was just awful, right? Well, now you've got all kinds of things that they listen to that are horrible lyrics that talk about trafficking, glorifying it, making it exciting and fun to demean women, racial slurs. It's okay. And when you talk to the kids, it's not about the words, it's about the beat. They don't understand that those words are still, you're taking it in, whether you think it's about it or not. It is embracing you and making you feel that telling a woman to get out of the car and go walk the boulevard is a normal. It's making you think it's okay to use the N word because it's in the song. And so now it's normalized. They don't understand that they are taking it in. Have you seen the video games your kids are playing? Do you consider that when you're buying it or when they're playing? All things you need to do. Then they've got social media. Where did that come from, right? I didn't deal with that growing up, but social media is a whole different animal. It's a whole, there we go, whole different thing. It can be very useful. I didn't have social media in undergrad. We had to go to the library and look up stuff with these big books, and it was annoying. But we had to do that. Now they don't. They can Google it. You can connect with people. You don't have to wait till Sunday to call grandma across the country. You can Zoom her whenever you feel like it. My husband's family's in Virginia. We do Zoom meetings. It's resourceful. All of us use it. Quick information, it's quick. But on the other end, it's dangerous. It's useful, but it's dangerous. I can remember looking up cheerleading for a client, and my intent was to find a local cheerleading group for the young lady to participate in. What came up was cheerleading porn. I literally just put in cheerleading. If it happened to me as an adult, it happened to them. It connects with people, but do we want to connect with everyone? Do you know the people your kids are connecting with playing these video games and chatting? During COVID, how much did parents pay attention to the homeschooling, the virtual schooling? So I found this, I get all kind of weird stuff, but I came across this article, children are being coerced by pedophiles into abusing their siblings online. I immediately sent it to Ruthie. I send Ruthie crazy stuff all the time. But this whole article was about March 24th, 2021, kids are doing school virtually, pedophiles are intruding and directing them to sexually assault their younger siblings. And that pedophile is recording it. Were we present? We have to think about that. It is intrusive. It's intrusive when you think about it. People enter our lives virtually and we don't even know them half the time. Stranger danger has kind of gone out the window. We're not afraid. And again, rapid access to information. You can hit porn like that. A kid can see images that they shouldn't see. And it's very quick. And it may not be something they're actually looking for, but it's not hopeless. What are some things we can do? As parents, I think it's important that we ask ourselves a number of questions to view who we are as the parent. Are you always the enforcer? Are you always enforcing the rules? You know, you're not supposed to do this. Wait, did you take the trash out? Did you make your bed? Did you do your homework? Did you do this? Did you do that? We can get caught up in that very easily because it's all things that we need to get done. But is it all we do? I've heard parents that I've worked with when it happens to be a two-parent home, I'm the good parent, I'm the good cop. Or how many times do we ask a couple who's the disciplinarian? Why do we have to have identified roles? We need to combine it. We need to enforce and we need to create structure, but is that all you are? Because if you are, how does that child see you? important question for you to ask yourself. Are you fun, but not too fun? We do need to be fun. We do need to engage. We do need to engage in things that interest our children. We do need to be friendly, but we are not their friend. We are friendly, but we are not friends. That boundary has to be set. But is it going to be hard for me to go hiking with my daughter because she's nature girl? Because she really is. She loves camping. I don't like any of that, but she loves it. And I said, okay, I'll go, but I'm not going to dig a hole to go to the bathroom. Like she's knee deep, that kind of camping. That's not me. But will I go? Not to that camping, but a compromise. Will I go hiking? 100%. Have I gone to the Wiggles concert and I really didn't want to go? I sure did. And you know what I did? I was singing the songs, look at the light, look both ways. I was in it. And she was like, wow. When she was little, I've always done that. Did I sit and watch shows? Do I still do it? Her interest. I remember very clearly when 13 Reasons came out. I had heard about it. I listened to Good Morning America in the morning. So I heard about it and I was like, oh, okay, I need to look into this, right? For my clients. Guess what happened when we came home from school? Guess who was watching it? My daughter. You should have seen me do a beeline to her. I was like, oh, I just go check on her. What you watching? 13 Reasons. I had 5 billion things to do. Make no mistake. I copped a seat and we watched it together so we could have a conversation. We literally watched the whole thing. And I said, okay. And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to, we'll do part 2 tomorrow. We did part 2 tomorrow. But before we did part 2, I had to catch up on 1 and 2, first 2 episodes, but I did because we could have a conversation. And I listened to the psychologist saying, don't let them do it by themselves. You need to have a conversation. What I didn't know was during her senior year, one of her friends would commit suicide. So I could use that conversation to support her in moving through that process. That is about being engaged. Are you really listening when they talk to you? And I don't care about what it is. Are you listening? Because a lot of times I listen to what's not being said. I'm not because my job, I'm always reading in between the lines. And do they know you're actually listening? Do you actively listen to what they're saying? Whether it's about their school day, whether it's about what happened here or what happened there. I remember my daughter in high school coming back talking to me about school and a kid and on Instagram. And on Instagram, a kid she didn't know the girl, but the girl had posted pictures of her pole dancing in her house. She was very wealthy and her house had columns. And my daughter was like, some of the comments look like from old people. She's just talking. That information for me went right to the principal of the school because you need to find out what's going on. The girl's parents travel a lot. We need to be alert. My listening was able to help me do that. Are you involved? Think about that for a minute. How involved are you in your children's lives? How present are you? What do you know about their life outside of your house? I cannot tell you how many parents I have worked with who literally don't know what's happening in their own house because we're busy and we're doing lots of other things. You have to understand your involvement is important and there are a number of ways for you to be involved. I think school involvement is amazing. Join the PTA. It's your way to watch without them knowing you're watching. And if you don't have the time to go to meetings, connect with the parent who's on there so they can tell you and send some baked goods at the next bake sale. Make sure that school knows who you are because that is important. Single parents, don't feel like I can't do this. Again, connect with another parent. Do you go to the games and dance rehearsals and anything else that they're involved in? Do you go? Do you ask, how was that for you? Do you provide support when maybe they didn't do so great? That's all important. It matters. I can remember I studied dance and taught dance since I was 5 for like many, many years. And I can remember I was doing a performance that my mom had seen 5,000 times, and she had had the flu so bad. And where was my mom opening night? And I told her, you don't have to go. You've seen, she was right there in the front row, like this, bundled up, but she was there. And I was doing the same performance like 2 other days, but that wasn't my opening night. And she was there all the other days too. If you are listening and communicating and your child is talking to you, please believe what they say. I would be a billionaire if I had 5 cents for every time a child told me they told a parent someone was sexually abusing them and the parent did not believe them. Believe them first, find the truth later. Kids typically aren't going to lie to you about something like that. Believe them, take action. Let the police investigate. Let them find, and if it turns out the child was incorrect, if it turns out they lied, it's happened very minimally. I would rather beg forgiveness from that person or totally let them leave my life than not believe my child. Because I'm going to believe you, and you need to know that every time. I don't care, I believe you. Because not believing them is damaging and it is tragic. Are you deeply communicating? Some things are uncomfortable conversations to have. As parents and caregivers, we must be comfortable with uncomfortable conversations. If you know you have to have an uncomfortable conversation, practice in the mirror. I don't know, practice with a friend. But be prepared to have it so you don't appear uncomfortable, but I'm comfortable, I'm okay. You can tell me what's happening. I'm going to be okay, and I'm going to be okay enough to help you. I like Lifetime and Hallmark. I was watching a Lifetime movie a couple weekends ago, and it was about these teenage girls in high school, and a former high school student was bullying them and extorting things from them and threatening them with pictures he had convinced them to send of their body parts. And they were too afraid to tell their parents because they were concerned about what their parent might think. I am going to be shamed. They are going to be ashamed of me. I think it was Ruthie, Nicole, somebody said, take the shame out, take it out. I tell my daughter all the time, I am never going to agree with everything you do, but I will be here to support you. And it's okay if I don't agree. And it's okay if you don't agree with me, but we will get through it together. You have to create that environment. Please understand the importance of your being comfortable with uncomfortable conversations creates a safe space. Do you know, I don't understand this. I know my kid's older, but why do parents not know their children's friends? I don't get it. It's confusing to me. You just let your kid go to so-and-so's house and you don't know those people? Do you know their parents? For my kid to go to your house, I need to know all the generations. And I mean, I need to know way back. How do you just let people would just drop their kids off to my house? What if I was a serial killer? They don't know. Know your children's friends. Know their parents and whoever else lives in that house. If there's a birthday party, go. Especially if your kid is little, you need to find things out. Just go sit and talk to the moms with your little juice box. Grab a juice box like the kids and go sit and chit chat. Because you get to know people. I'm so grateful for my daughter's best friend in high school. We were completely different as far as culture. They were Pakistani, I'm American. They were Muslim, I'm Christian. They were wealthy beyond what you could imagine. I am not in any capacity. I remember them saying, oh, we love Kellen so much. We're going to take her to Dubai. So this is what I told my daughter. I said, listen to me. You will be on a commercial flight. It's going to take you about 3 days to get to Dubai because you're going to have a lot of layovers. Don't think you're going on Emirates because you're not. Nobody can pay for that. You're going to have like 15 layovers in the cheap seats. Like we're making a joke about it because that's the level of what they had. But what did we have in common? We watched our kids. We wanted to know who they were around. We constantly communicated with each other. We had dinner together. They had, we would go on their outings with them sometimes so we could get to know each other and develop a trust. Our differences didn't matter. What mattered was our similarities and that we could learn from our differences. We knew each other, and that is important to do. Know their people. Are you judgmental? Do you judge? If you're judging people and your kids present, tell me what you think they're going to think. You're going to judge me too. If I come and tell you something hard, if I come and tell you I'm questioning my identity, and you're talking about this person, that person, and this person, I believe you're going to judge me, and you're not safe for me to share. You have to create a safe space, and you have to think for yourself. How do your own values, belief, your faith, as parents, we have dreams for our child. How does it impact your relationship with your child? Are you so harsh and so firm with them that you can't see who they are or what that child may need? That is something you need to question. It's important. If you are judgmental, if you remember nothing else, there's 3 things I want you to remember from this training. Your rejection is a sex trafficker's celebration. You have just given them the party of their life because they're not going to reject your child. They're going to celebrate them. Your rejection is a drug dealer's celebration. They're not going to reject them. So you have to think, is that what you want? Do you want that? There are ways to share your opinions, your values, and your dreams. It's how you do it. What is the tone you do it in? That is what matters. Don't stifle who you are. My daughter firmly knows who I am. And there are things I disagree with. I wasn't really down for the traveling, for the study abroad situation, because my thing is get it done, study here, get it over with. But I had to respect the dream for her and her love for travel and her love for new experiences. And we could make a deal. I have to hear from you every day. She did it. I have to know the people you're around. She did it. To the point of she's telling them, my mom's sending me something. Anybody want something? Don't do that. It costs a lot to send stuff abroad. It's like, shut that down. Her friends want to talk to me. Even with distance, I knew who they were and what was happening. And they're like, do I know everything? No, I don't. But I try to know as much as I can. This is the 3rd thing I want you to know. Are you present? How present are you? I don't mean you're physically there, but are you present? Your presence is the greatest asset your child has to being protected. That is the greatest deterrent. You think a sex trafficker is want to come and talk to your kid if they know you're around somewhere? No. And I don't mean hovering. So I was on the PTA at my daughter's school. I've always been very involved with school. I've been very blessed to have a job that allowed me flexibility. And she wouldn't even know when I was there. The kids were like, oh, we saw your mom. Wonderful. And they didn't care. I was friendly with them, but I really understood the power of presence in the 12th grade when this boy was trying to talk to her, as the kids say, he was trying to holler. And he says to her, well, hey, maybe I can come to your house and watch the basketball game. She's like, sure, no problem. And he goes, ooh, I think I'm scared of your mom. This kid is 6'1". I'm 5'1". I don't even know him, but he has seen me. He's seen my presence. I'm not mean, I'm fun with all the kids, but he knew I was present. And my daughter said, my mom's cool, I'll talk to my mom, but it's my stepdad you should probably be concerned about, because she knows she's protected. But why was he concerned about me? Because finds out he's trying to talk to 5 other girls. So he knows I'm around. So maybe I'm going to see something or know something. Same premise follows with people who are looking for your children. They look for the most vulnerable. They look for that child who doesn't have somebody present, who's more independent, who is more on their own, who is just out there doing life by themselves. So understand that your presence is power. It's your most powerful tool. And your presence emotionally. I love this quote. I share it in a lot of trainings. I was watching Oprah like 100 years ago. And Toni Morrison was on and she asked this question. Do your eyes light up when your child enters the room? What does your child see? Are you busy on the phone? Are you cooking? Are you working? Do they see welcoming? Do they see she's happy I'm here? Even if you're disappointed in them, they need to know I'm so disappointed, but I love you so much. And there's nothing on earth you can do that's going to change that, because I'm going to be here. It is your presence. Do your eyes light up when they enter the room? Because if they don't, the trafficker, his due, hers due, they're joyous to see your child, and they're going to let your child know that. Take the time to consider that. It's important. I have to give some studies. The proof is in the study. Children with involved parents also have enhanced skills for regulating emotions and feel negative emotions less often. Children with involved parents have lower rates of substance use and delinquent acts compared to kids whose parents are not. Parent involvement in their child's education improves social functioning, better engagement, and they have better social skills. Your presence is power. You matter. Let's talk about what happens when you're not. Unfortunately, we have seen a rapid increase in suicide. CDC reports suicide is the second leading cause of death for adolescents between 15 to 19. Between 2007 and 2018, the rate of suicide for ages 10 to 24 increased 60%. Family and psychological conflicts have been linked to suicide attempts and deaths. The pandemic, were we present? 22.3% increase during summer of 2020 in ER visits as a result of possible suicide attempts for children between the ages of 12 and 17 than 2019. February and March 2020 increase of 50.6% in possible suicide attempts for girls than during that same period in 2019. So ask yourself this question: my judgment, my rejection, my busyness, my unable to be fully present as much as I can, what do I want? Do I want this? Do I want a child who's on the street? Do I want a child who's vulnerable to trafficking and substance use? Or do I want to make the sacrifice and do what I need to do to be as present as I possibly can? What's your superpower? Being present doesn't always have to be grand. You want to know what my mom's superpower was when I was in school? French fries. Superpower. My mom makes the best homemade French fries. All my friends, people who weren't even my friends, wanted to come to my house for these extraordinary French fries. They were amazing. God bless that woman. She should give potato people money, okay? She spent so much money. I didn't realize that she was making herself the potato mom. She's an amazing cook. She always knew what was happening. Nothing got past her, not just with her own kids, but with her friends. My house was the hangout spot because of a French fry. What's your superpower? Mine is I'm kind of a little bit silly. I engage her friends. I have panic attacks, not in real life, but my daughter's best friend in high school posted, I have Instagram for one reason, to stalk my daughter and her friends. Now, could she have another one? Sure she could. I don't, but they know I'm watching. Her friend posted something alarming, about a relationship, I immediately text my daughter, is so-and-so okay? What's going on? I saw this post, my daughter's like, Mommy, it's a Drake song. She's posting the lyrics to the latest song. Calm it down. Yeah, but I don't know that. But my superpower is being a little bit silly. It engages her friends. I ask you to identify yours. I want to leave you with this by Mother Teresa. You will teach them to fly, but they will not fly your flight. You will teach them to dream, but they will not dream your dream. You will teach them to live, but they will not live your life. Nevertheless, in every flight, in every life, in every dream, the print of the way you taught them will always remain. They may not do everything you want them to do, but rest assured, your foundation is always present, even when they don't know it. I got proof of this morning. If I leave the house when my daughter's asleep, I leave her a note. Hope you had wonderful dreams. Love you so much. Who got a note this morning? She left me a note. I know I'm not the one who leaves notes, but I want to wish you good luck on your presentation. You're going to do great. And I love you so much. Happy birthday, Mommy. You're the best. That's my note. Did she think of that? She started with a, I'm not the note person. She called me in Europe. She had gone out dancing. She goes, you know what I realized? Because when I dance, I snap my fingers. She's like, so I dance. And I was like, oh crap, I'm my mom. I'm snapping my fingers. Who we are imprints on them. Don't think your struggle, don't think your work and your effort is in vain when they don't follow exactly what you want. Trust me. What you've given them, what you've blessed them with, your imprint remains forever. So do the best job we can. Give yourself grace. We are not always going to do it perfect, and we're not always going to do it right. Show yourself grace. Show your children grace. The grace that each of us has needed at some point, give it to yourself and give it to others. Thank you for being here today, for rolling with my craziness. I appreciate it. Hug and love your kids and all the kids around you, because you would be amazed at how much they need that. No matter how old, they need it. Thank you. Oh, one last thing I forgot, and I didn't even know Dr. Morgan was doing this. Talking about simple, keeping it simple. I created a resource sheet and I intentionally made it simple. I can really go fancy because I like glitter and all that stuff. But my point in keeping it simple was because I wanted to become a basic part of your life. Simple. It's resources for a suicide hotline and suicide help, mental health services, family support, human trafficking, and of course, the Global Center for Women podcast. I want you guys to just, if you want, take a yellow paper with basic resources. I want to help you be comfortable with uncomfortable conversations, and resources be so available to you that you may need that it's just second. It's like common knowledge, not a big deal. Thank you again. Have a great day.